All right, as promised over on Michael Hearn's page, we have live action for you. This is actually still warming up, all right? We're going to work on the Matt Wenning Belt Squat. I'm going to show you all a little stuff first. All right? Look at the heels. This is an 11-inch box, all right? It's 315 for Mikey, all right? This is about our third warm-up set, all right? This is our second warm-up set at 315. See Mike's just getting everything firing, and then we are going to go over to this beautiful piece of equipment and try to put it to the test. We're going to try to break it in every freaking way. I've got some ideas how to torque. All right, check out the foot placement. Guys, this is extreme. Nice. His feet are actually on the bottom of the 11-inch box. Nice. Keep going. Nice. Go again. Get nasty. Woo! Good. We're using this to warm up. Also something else we're doing here is this. We are going to compare front squats today with belt squats. So we are not triggering our minds. How can we do this harder? Take it as much pressure. I know you guys are going to say, well, that's a lot of back. Very little back when you're doing front squats. It's upright. You're going to feel less pressure there. So on this, when the dog's back? Right now? So again, do not attempt the foot placement until you got front squats down, and then to make it harder, with the foot placement high. Oh, the beasts are back. That's it. Now we're good.
Now we're good.
Come here. What's up? So, listen, yes, I don't want to say don't buy the lie about heavy weights, because you need heavy at times, but you can be super strong and not get any results from the physique aspect. And I've been contestant number 1 in that pool. So listen, start light, start slow. Even Mike and I's tempo, our drop down pace, probably way faster than you should be. If I was going to give you an example rep of how I started with Mike, trying to figure this out, it was like quad, trying to keep my big old rear end out of it. And then all the mind is literally trying to push through every one of these fibers in those legs. And it's taken me almost 3 years to start to master that.
All right, we just kind of went over something here. Sorry about not getting that other side, buddy. That's a Lance Keys move. I should have got that weight for you. So we're just asking heavy weight. Heavy for the rep range you're doing, or heavy for what purpose you're doing it. We're doing warm-ups here. So we just want to get the nervous system fired up. Let's go. Now, I do not like those shoes.
Definitely not.
Don't like CrossFit shoes or athletic running shoes for squats.
You hear Mike talking about he doesn't like the shoes. They're soft-heeled. All right, so watch as Sean, you're going to see the shoe kind of cave in.
Here we go.
Which is going to make that ankle roll out a little bit, all right? So it's taking tension off where you want it.
Beautiful.
So get you some power shoes, all right? Different companies out there. Sean is at 225 here. Sean's about 50 pounds less than me, 150 pounds less than Mike. And but my boy,
I'm growing
through
7 pounds.
the Titan programming,
program.
power bodybuilding.
Yeah, buddy.
With 6-7 pounds?
7 pounds.
7 pounds.
In what time span?
Month and a half.
So 6 weeks.
Month and a half.
Listen.
Let's not confuse the people. Let's not confuse the people.
2 months, man.
Because that's one of the big things here is to take a beginner and change them is not that hard. But taking an elite athlete, these guys, and change them, now we're on to something. And I believe that you can never speak about something until you work with all aspects of life. And what I love is seeing these guys change, even though this one over here has been training for, I'm closing in on 30 years over here for you.
Yeah.
And Rez has looked like this since he was 16, which is incredible. So the big thing here is baby changes for any level is a great thing.
Yeah.
After this is something that
And 7
I've been
pounds.
training for like 25 years. I always told Mike, I said, Mike, somebody can change my legs, it's gonna be you. Because my mentality was that's it, all I could do.
Yeah.
And it is somebody that exactly.
Hold on. You've been training for 25 years, so your mentality is you know everything. I thought.
No, I don't believe anybody knows everything. Never.
That,
never.
my friends, is called
I
humble.
know what I know.
You know who
Humble.
You know who
So
knows?
when I met up with
Everything
him,
about eating?
Let's do this.
All right. You can go to Real Matt Wenning to check out this piece of awesome equipment. All right. Real Matt Wenning. There we go. Mike's unlocking it for his first set. A lot of different movements. I'm not sure exactly what Mike's going to pull off today. I'm going to try a bunch of different athletic movements. I'm going to start with some double leg stuff, but I'm going to start playing around with some single leg, lighter weight, explosive mechanics, and then maybe a little volume training at the end to try to really torch the quad.
Nice.
So again, listen, you see a 45 on each side. Matt built this thing to try to be as weight correct as possible. You get on a lot of these machines, sometimes a Pit Shark, there's some other types of machines that are similar to this, that you're gonna see guys that can't squat 500 pounds and they're gonna have 8 plates on each side because the weight, it's not, the ratios are off. And so the one thing I love about this machine, of how Matt really started to work his magic on this bad boy, was he tried to build it in such a way where this would be 135 on a regular bar. It should feel like 135 this way, just loaded more perfectly on your hips than on your back. I'm gonna go a little bit more narrow, a little quad focused. See what this thing feels like today. Oh, here we go. Let me unrack it, the idiot.
Oh, oh yeah. All right. So again, we're just warming up right now. A lot of different ways to do this. We already kind of tore the fibers and built it. Now what we want to do is see what we can do different here. Great thing here, for you guys that don't like training legs, for you guys that want the pressure off the back, bad shoulders, bad lower back. If you don't do this, man, you're just setting yourself up to fail. I mean, that's instant. You can just tell by the way it's positioned and everything.
We can have some fun with this.
all right. So I get through all different positions. Ready?
Look at those hips. Shin angle. Boom. Now, think about our front squat angle, how those knees were driving over the toes, and then compared to that angle you just saw. And then now, more quad focused, okay? This is the beauty of this machine. You can safely and effectively get so many different angles of work. Give you a little bit wider view. Now this is more of a traditional squat. Those hips are back. A lot of glute, a lot of hamstring activation. Look at the depth, all right? Now, watch this single leg. This is the stuff I was talking about a minute ago. Athletes, shoot, any type of physique competitor, if you want glute hamstring tie-in, oh, Lindsay, you're watching, I'm gonna destroy you on this on Monday over here, because this is the rear end that every young lady wants. This machine can make it. You could honestly live in this machine. Look at the posture, look at the arch in the back. Hands are barely holding on. Glutes, hammies are pulling him down. It's not just a free fall. There's tension all through those hamstrings and hips the whole time, never relaxing. You saw Mike go about some.
He's going to go a moderate speed. And then we got, if you ever saw The Incredibles, you have the little one, Flash, or whatever. Here we go. Watch this.
So a little single leg. See if we can't figure this out.
And also, guys, please don't try this right off the bat. Okay. Now, the difference between his and my single leg, I was doing a bodybuilding isolation. What you guys, all you young kids, need to be doing this. Very little on the back leg. Boom, that's all front leg. Man, if you could see this in person, Very little work from the back leg. All front. You guys are going through high school, playing any kind of sport, anything like that. You're watching a guy that played 10 years in the NFL. First of all, you don't get through college and make it to the pros unless you're elite. And this guy has work ethic.
Yeah.
Let's go. Also, keynote. It's one plate. Still getting the sweat going. Change up. Here we go. Nice. Beautiful. Pumping this out now. Keeping the tension on it. Good speed. Focus. Again, I don't know, we haven't said this at all, but again, there's nothing going on in the back here. That belt squat takes everything off your back, so if you guys are worried about that, great. Off the recommendation right now, I would say this. The belt squat would be something that you work into your program.
Absolutely.
I still want, most of you young guys, when I say longevity, it stems from what you did as going, hey, I want to live forever. You know, the harshness of that is me going, a little too late, in a sense. And I don't want to say that because you can still get better, but it's the 20-year-olds that I'm talking to today that we said, and I try to make a point of it, when Rez said he didn't know, that's being humble, that's going, hey, I don't know nothing about stock markets. I'm not going to go in acting like I do because I don't want to look like a fool. I don't know anything. I'm a fool when it comes to that. So when you do this, if there's a weak point, listen to somebody. Watch, and I wouldn't watch somebody your age because they haven't done it for a long period of time. Watch somebody that's a little older. Grab 10 years in front of you. So if you're 18, 19, look at the late 20-year-olds. See what they're doing, what they did at 18 and 19. Everybody looks at Jay Cutler and go, his arm workout for the Olympia. I'm sorry, it doesn't apply to you in any universe.
Nope.
What did he do when he was 18 to 20 to put the size on the arms? That's what you should be paying attention to. Go back to your last point.
Mike's last point. What he just told you was how important your foundation is. I've been thinking about this in every area of life, from the foundation of my relationship with my daughters, to being a good dad, to being a good friend to these knuckleheads. But what Mike was talking about in here, Jay Cutler, I'm 40, I could pick up his bicep workout and it wouldn't be the right bicep workout for me. I never built a foundation of arms. I didn't work at arms a day in my life until I met Mike. And after almost 3 years, we're starting to see some growth. We're starting to see some development, but it's a process. So your foundation, if you are a young athlete watching this video, don't start here. Start over in that squat rack. And don't start with your front squats either. Put that bar on your back, start in that squat rack and live there for a couple years. Build a core foundation that then you can kind of start stacking bricks on top of everything else. So your fundamental lifts, Mike would tell you the same thing. It is going to be a deadlift, it's going to be a squat, it's going to be a military press, and it's going to be your incline bench. Build foundation, and then start stacking wisdom on top of that as you train and as you grow. And if you're an athlete, add power clean. Maybe replace power clean with the deadlift, although I never deadlifted a day in my life till I met Mike. But my athletes now, they're going to be on a deadlift platform because that power transforms your power clean, transforms your squat, transforms everything you're trying to do.
Question for you.
Yep.
Deadlift, conventional or sumo?
Well, listen, I think for an athlete, have your feet up under you. I always try to, what I'm doing in the gym, does it transfer to the court? Does it transfer to the field? And if I'm like this on a field somewhere, I'm gonna be in big trouble. But if I have my core and my base up under me, that's where I'm gonna start. Now, I would argue that there is some hamstring pull in that sumo deadlift that might be very beneficial, but I do not speak from a place of practical application with that sumo deadlift because I've never done it. So I'm not saying that it's not good for athletes. I'm just saying if you're gonna focus on one, get your feet up under your base, tighten that core, pull on that back, because as you create that big strong core and back and that power freaking caboose, that's what wrecks people on a field, on a court. Heck, Tiger Woods golfing started power cleaning and deadlifting because he knew that power from that swing would transfer through that ball.
But I thought only deadlifts apply to bodybuilders and powerlifters.
Whoever said that thought wrong. Humbly speaking, don't listen to them.
Just so I understand, didn't John Jones come back this year?
Sure did.
What did he change in his lifting, if you know?
I honestly don't know.
Came back, started powerlifting.
I'm a DC fan. DC, what's up, buddy? Sorry.
Okay, well played.
All natty. My
Well
bad.
played.
Just play. I'm a hater. I'm just kidding. John Jones, his brother Chandler. Tell about John. Chandler played for the Pats, Arizona Cardinals. Talk about a freak of nature athlete, 275, jump out of the gym. Powerlifting is the key. Explosive powerlifting. And speaking of powerlifters, one of my favorite humans in the world just walked in.
Hey, Mo! There you go, fit mommy here.
Look who just came in.
I just got here.
Well, you've been here with us all day.
But hey.
You just don't know.
It's up to soft tissue. Because for athletes, our bodies live in a constant state of overtraining. Every single day, you're going to go bang out 1,800 yards of conditioning. You know, if you're doing it right, maybe even more so before you lift. And so you have to maximize your effort in the weight room. You got maybe a 75-minute, 90-minute period of time once you get in the weight room after you've done your conditioning, if you're eating right and sleeping right, to really maximize your effort on creating speed and power. And so that's what I was saying just about the aspect. If I'm going to focus on one, I'm going to focus on something that I know this position, you know, this all transfers to the field, where I'm not quite sure if pulling from this position gives me much, because even when I'm changing direction, if I'm here changing direction, I'm a play or two away from blowing out my knee. I want to change direction from here, getting out of here again. So again, there's plenty of ways to train the body. I'm just always thinking of ways that how does it apply to what I'm demanded to do on a field or a court. And that's why I either want to be single leg or I want my feet up under me training.
Easy way to solve that too is do them both.
Yeah, yep. If you got time.
You get time. One workout sumo, one workout conventional. And then whichever is weaker for you, do that twice, and then the other one once. Okay, same thing. Here's something. When you guys are watching somebody work out and you're seeing them move through that exercise, you should be able to see the beautifulness of it. You should also be able to see that muscle is working. Like right now, you can just see it working. And we're not even anywhere near what we're going to go up to.
Look at this.
Look how close those feet are together. That is a beautiful thing. Again, change up positions inside. Now that's harder to do with a squat during the set. I'd rather you not change positions when you're squatting. Whatever you warm up with, you stay in. With this is nice because it's taking the pressure off the upper body, so you're easier to move around.
Be on a single arm warm up, just repetitive motion of probably 125 reps.
If I go through the
and
whole
over and
body,
over
could
again.
you pretty much tell me if you showed up 10 minutes late before you come in the gym, could you say, I know where Mike is right now?
I mean, most days, if I was 30 minutes late, which never happens, I could tell you where Mike's at. Because it's going to be foundational.
But you can't get better doing that.
No, you can't. It's a waste of time. You look like crap, Mike. Give me that phone.
Practice after practice. Okay, now it's annoying. Now we get to high school. I got this, coach. No. Handoffs. College, same thing. Then he gets to the pros. Same thing with the greatest coach ever, Bill Belichick. Handoffs, lead block. Same thing. So there's got to be the basics. I guess the biggest point here is if you can control your impatience, say for me,
Impatience, yeah. Or just the craving of variety. Because that human nature is like, I just want something different. I'm bored.
Give me something different.
Yeah.
I've done this diet. Give me something different. But your body's changing. I know, but I want to go faster. I need it today. That's the first thing that ends up people. Everybody goes, what happens if you did this or that? My career would have been over in 1992.
Yeah.
If I went away, and again, this is, I hope you guys don't take this the wrong way. If I went away from the heavy weights, for the rep range that I'm doing, if I went away from the basic exercises, again, I wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. I'm the last man standing from the early 80s. There's actually nobody from the late 80s that's still standing in this sense at this peak. And I'm just trying to teach, not you old dogs, because you fought it for so long. I'm trying to talk to you young kids. Calm the mind. Calm the mind.
Yeah.
Do the work.
I'm going to tell you something else that Mike never really talks about just because it's so far from his mind. But I know from my 10 years in the NFL, I also know in this so-called fitness industry, Mike has trained the right way. He has built a lifestyle of training that works for him to get mad results. I got mad results starting at 37 and a half years old. We talked about Sean here a minute ago, adding a whole bunch of 6-7 pounds just to the legs in the last 6 weeks. But here's your key point. Mike, when was the last time you had a drink of alcohol?
Never did.
Never did. Mike, when was the last time you've done drugs?
Never did.
Never did. Here's what I know about our body. Our body will recover from anything.
That's how I get my alcohol every day. 3
Yeah.
hours ago.
Don't ask Red.
Don't
He has
listen.
alcohol.
Don't listen.
He's
Don't listen.
over an
Sean.
hour over here.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Hey, but Mike, how many? And I know. Listen, I know a lot of you guys have lifestyles like mine. You got kids and everything else. But Mike, how many hours of sleep do you average per day?
7 hours a night and an hour nap. 8 hours.
So, and here's the thing: if you know anything about nap times and REM cycle and how the body responds to naps, that hour can actually act like 2 hours of recovery in a nap. So you're talking about a 7-hour sleep pattern a night that's consistent. But then also you talk about that hour nap. So when you take 8, which really is going to be 8.5 or 9 hours of true rest, there is no drinking, there is no drugs. The food is always on point. My one-liner about Mike's cheat day is grapes and strawberries. I've known the guy 3 years, and without exaggerating, literally, without exaggerating, we've probably had 10 cheat meals together in 3 years. I mean, think about that. When I'm not around Mike, I'm going to have 7 cheat meals a week. But you want to train like this, that's one aspect. And the power bodybuilding system will work. It'll work even better if you kind of approach life like Mike and I have, in the sense of we're not drinking stuff in our system that shouldn't be there. Because here's what I know that is an actual fact. You can't argue with it because I lived it for 10 years. The Bible talks about our bodies are fearfully and wonderfully made. We will recover from anything. I mean, 10 years of pounding, ACLs, necks, whatever. If you are resting, and if you are sleeping, and if you are training right, and you are hydrated, and you're staying away from all the other poisons putting in your system, your body will do anything at 50, at 40. Folks, I can still go out and run 1,500 yards of conditioning and come in this gym and perform. I'm on 120 carbs right now, and I can perform with the best of them. Our minds are clear, our minds are strong.
Can I ask you something
Yep.
real quick? I know we're going to get into this later today on the YouTube.
Yep.
I get asked a lot, and what is your point of view on this? I knew what I wanted to do at 9 years old.
Yeah, 4.
So I didn't pick up alcohol because I knew that if everybody else did, they would fall a day behind, and I would catch a day.
Yep.
That was my mentality. Stayed with my whole life. Now, is there something you can say to these young kids? Because I get asked, hey, how do you not drink on a Friday, Saturday night with your friends when they're all drinking?
2 things. A, I want to be respected, and I'm going to find every way. I've done a lot of screwed up things in my
But
life.
they're going to tease you.
I mean, I don't care. I wanted this. I want to be respected. I don't care about being liked. If you like me, you don't necessarily want to be like me. But if you respect me, there's about 3 or 4. There might be a whole bunch of areas in my life that you want to pick out and you want to emulate me because you respect me. Listen, what do you want? This life is about what you want. If you want to be a bodybuilder, you're going to pay the price. If you say you want to be a bodybuilder, but you're not paying the price, you don't want it.
I don't want to sacrifice, though. I don't want to sacrifice my friends for the life I live.
They're not your friends anyway. If you got to sacrifice them, when I went to Auburn, they were teasing me about being a virgin. They were teasing me about not drinking. They were teasing me about everything. So what? Look at my life. Again, not perfect, but from 4 years old, I wanted to play in the league. Started helping me formulate plans to get there. We put a plan in place, made it happen. Put a plan in place to move into TV after 10 years in the NFL. I always said I want to play 10 years and then reevaluate. What did I do? Play 10 years, reevaluate, and move right into TV. TV offered me some great opportunities. Got dealt a bad hand last year. What am I going to do? Bad hand, big opportunity. That's all it is. And so your mindset is everything. But listen, that alcohol, Bill Belichick, every single year, Mike, I'll let you get to your next set while I keep talking. But Bill Belichick would tell us every single year, he put on the board soft tissue. Listen, if you're just kind of somewhat of a weekend warrior, listen, you can get away with drinking and eating crap and everything else, but at the end of the day, if you're trying to maximize your effort, you can't be putting the poisons in your system for your soft tissue, because here's the deal. What the dehydration level alone of alcohol, it's 17-18%. So as an NFL athlete, if I go home on a Friday night, Sunday game, I go home on a Friday night, I'm in bed by 10. The rest of my counterparts are out drinking, and they're out till 2 with just 2 shots of alcohol, hard alcohol. That's not beer or wine, but hard alcohol, which most people drink. Listen, the dehydration rate in their body, I've automatically got 17% better than them just by me resting and them drinking, all right? So then you talk about 17%. You're talking about, that's almost a fifth. So then you start stacking Friday nights, all right? You talk about 17 regular season weeks, all right? Week 1, week 2. What's the cumulative effect of one elite athlete going home resting mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and the other going out and being like, I want to party on a Friday night? So you start stacking 17%, and Bill Belichick would show us all the blood levels. He would show us everything and what it did to our soft tissue. You wonder why guys pop hamstrings, why they pull pecs, why they pull quads. You talk about the elite athletes that are taking care of their body in and out of season, they don't have those soft tissue injuries. They're seeing the chiropractor, they're seeing the massage therapist, and then they are destroying their body on the field, destroying it in the weight room, resting it and feeding it at home. They're the elite.
We can go into the secondary part of it. Is your body sees alcohol as a toxin, and it will clean itself out. But when it does clean itself out, make sure read up on all this stuff, and then watch Rez try to get out of this.
I mean, listen.
I don't know
It's a
what's
good thing
going
you're
on
pretty,
here.
man.
Rez,
It's a good thing.
Rez,
you're
I'm not
pretty.
cutting any of this footage.
He's like the pretty girl with no personality.
So your body will shut down, try to clean its toxins out before the kidneys and the liver start utilizing protein in the proper form again. And so you just kind of losing a day there. Now, hey, here's the scoop. I want to tell you there's 2 sides of each story. Heath and I don't drink. Guess what? Rezi?
Yeah.
Rezi?
Okay, let me explain.
You start like that.
No,
I want to tell them though,
Yeah,
that just because we don't, you guys make your own decisions. You know, it wasn't for me. I never picked it up. Same for
explain.
Heath, but Rez does.
Yeah, a lot of
and he
people
still
ask
looks
me.
like
A lot of
this.
people ask me, how do you drink that much? Because it's not good.
Do you
for
drink a
muscle.
lot?
No.
Okay.
I use alcohol as a blood stimulator. Meaning that
The sugar from it,
yes.
get it going.
Yes. Also because when you have it in the morning, it thinners your blood.
What's your nationality?
Persian,
And
quarter Russian,
okay.
and
Just so you guys know, if you decline a drink with a Russian, that's disrespectful.
Moldav Russian.
Hold on, start the conversation over again. 'Cause
So I
wanna
use
listen
it
to
as I
He's
use it
like
as a blood
Stan would
stimulator.
use OJ.
Okay.
As a blood stimulator. So just a half a shot, 1 shot in the morning, it thinners your blood, it gets the blood flowing, get more oxygen in the body. And that's it. I don't get drunk on it.
Huh.
It's not that I'm gonna like take shots and get
But we just
drunk.
want to tell you guys that we do hang out with people like this.
You know?
And we're not going to talk about Kelly Sullivan today.
You also
He's an
don't-
Irishman.
You also don't want Kelly's body.
You don't like Kelly's body. But you can see that, again, do research. See what you like. You know,
Whatever works
we
for
do
you.
it one way. Because we're going to talk about this later. You go again. Let's go 4 plates, boys. Something that we're going to talk about later is Heath's body it changed so much from doing my program for 3 months. Now, he can't continue to do that. Why? He's a father. He has 2 kids. He's doing a lot of new stuff. Doesn't have that kind of time to do the same programs I took him through. So he does a macro nutrition plan now. He does something different with the training because he's trying different stuff, which I recommend that you need to always do. Now, with that being said, again, he studied something, he tried something, it worked. He's trying other stuff. For you young kids, I would like to say today that nutrition and some of like Heath's biggest role models that he grew up with, nutrition is what is going to make you bigger, stronger, faster. Sleep is incredible. Think of it as recovery. But don't run away from food, you youngsters, especially if you're wrestling. And I talked about that when I was with the Olympic coach the other day, assistant Olympic coach for the wrestling team. And I talked about how I disliked how kids in high school are dieting. And now they do not allow it. Nice, kiddo.
Running around when I was playing. Every year, it was a struggle for me. I'd come in at 256, very flat.
What year?
This, I mean, honestly, from about 252, 22 years old. But as my body matured, I put on more muscle, got more powerful,
You
stronger.
graduated high school at
97, and I was 232
you graduated
pounds.
the year I won the universe.
Yeah.
I love it. So you graduated
32 pounds.
232 as a high schooler.
Yep. My freshman year at Auburn, I was about 243, 244. But
We're going to talk about this more later, guys. Just
Let me tell you this.
We're going to talk about these 20-year-olds.
I would go into the season at 256, and people would be like, "Oh, what do you weigh? Like 235?" Here's why: I was solid, compact, great condition, strong as muscle, no carbs. I always flat. And guess what? I'm a mental monster, so my energy, I would never let myself think that I wasn't energized. But now, knowing what I know about nutrition, I have energy for days that isn't just formulated in my head because of I don't allow myself to be weak, I don't allow myself to be tired. But I think about 10 years, basically nutritionally depleted. Now, my protein would be off the charts, but my fats and carbs and fibers were all over the place because I was trying to do things my way. And I honestly, that was the one area that I never really asked for a lot of help. And so, knowing what I know now, it is such a tool to be able to figure out how your body works. Mike, 2 years ago, absolutely shredded me down to 247 pounds. And I was at 4,000, 4,500 calories a day. Our proteins were off the chart and everything else. And I can tell you this machine transfers weight very, very well. Didn't feel a lot of tension in my knees. Felt it all where I wanted it. That's very important when you start messing with different machines to make sure that it's working what you need it to work. Again, look at Mike's posture. Look at the shin angle. Details, people. Watch the hamstring. Those are tight black pants. You still see those freaking hamstrings.
Details matter.
Wanting to rip out of the pants. You saw the arch in the back though, all right?
Man, Lululemon should sponsor you.
All right.
Seriously.
Let's put 5 bills on, boys. All right, so what's nice about everybody here is a little different. Mentally, I'm really different. Not in a good way, guys, not in a good way. But what's great is Rez is the guy that's enjoying life, doing his thing. He'll have a shot of vodka?
Whiskey.
Whiskey. Wait a minute, how does a Russian have whiskey? How do you justify that at the family reunion?
Well, I don't know. I love whiskey.
All right, so he does his things. Heath Evans, any alcohol through a lifetime?
Yeah, donut shots.
That's Pink Donut does that. He and I grew up not drinking. Just a choice, but we were.
You want a funny story? Here's a funny story. So my dad, when I was 14, kind of had the birds and the bees and the alcohol talk. And he said, "Son,
You were 14.
yeah, when it comes to alcohol, just know this. Every dumb thing I've ever done in life, including having you, has had alcohol involved in it. You're dumber than me. I suggest you not touch the stuff." Pretty much stuck, and I was like, yeah, okay, cool, won't touch it. But all that funniness aside, I was like, Mike, I was the one petrified of like, man, if I do this, someone's gonna take my scholarship. If I do this, someone's gonna steal my job. We wouldn't have labeled it that at the time, but that was the mindset all along. And it, listen.
So that was the talk.
Yeah, that was part of it. So the other part of it was this, and here's the not funny part, but the good part. He said, "Son, listen, I want you to watch all your buddies. When they start to drink, watch the consequences that follow, and if you want those consequences, go ahead and drink." And it was very easy to learn with my dad because I started watching my boys step into some stuff, get in trouble, hit stop signs with their cars, do all this other stuff, get grounded, get suspended from school. And I was like, you know what? I can just avoid this stuff. So
Let me stop you for a second.
yeah,
Because
listen and learn instead of live and learn.
the key point, what he said there for me is, and society does not do this today. Listen. You will learn more by listening and learning than asking questions. I understand you want to ask questions, but the problem is that at your age, you're probably asking the wrong question, which is unfortunate. If you listen to the people and watch them, you're going to learn so much more. He told you his experience at 14. I was 9 years old when I made the decision never to drink. We were playing sandlot football, And my older brothers would always take me with, and they would stick me at quarterback because they were trying to make me tougher. So we were playing sandlot football. We're all hitting and doing all of our things. And again, I was 9 years old, and these guys are 13, 14, 15. But they would drink afterwards, or drink during the game. Young kids. And I saw my older brother drink, and he drank so much that football game that he passed out and he threw up. But he threw up on his back, so the throw up came out. I know this is harsh, but this stuck with me through a lifetime. At that moment, I looked at that and I go, I'm trying to become something that I see in the TV and the movies and everything and in magazines. How is that going to help me get to there? And at 9 years old, I said, I will never drink. And it just stayed with me through a lifetime. I grew up with a reading problem and was put into special ed classes early on. And I skipped second grade because they thought I was a genius and I was big. Unfortunately, I was figuring out things differently than kids. I wasn't a genius in that sense. I would love to say I was, but I wasn't. I was just figuring out things differently because I couldn't read and write. So I missed phonics. So by going into these next process of life, being with these kids that were special and still special to me, it changed my approach. And that's why I probably can't relate with a lot of people and how they grow up and live their lives, because I come from a completely different mindset, a completely different world, that I always felt like I was detached from this world and how people grow up. Yeah. I grew up going, wait, I'm making these choices because I had great parents. We didn't have the discussions. We didn't have that. My discussion with my father was, if I couldn't figure out something, hey Dad, what's the answer to this? Can't tell you. You'll know as much as me. Can't tell you. He was a school teacher, so he put it on me to learn for myself and listen and stuff. And so it's cool hearing that you had a story, and it stayed with you for a lifetime. I'm 50 and I still remember this 9-year-old kid and that process. So,
all valid points. His 2 points that he made there was listen and learn, don't live and learn. And then the second one is he still thinks phonics is spelled with an F.
That's true. Somebody called Gavin. He'll tell me how to spell it. Woo-wee. This thing is fun.
Hey, Choice 55. That hoodie will be available very, very soon. This app is almost up to date. You can thank Apple for a freaking 8-week delay. God bless them. Here's what I love about this. So it's 5 on each side. That 5 feels very, very similar to 495 on your back. The weight placement is just a bit different, but the stress on those legs, on those glutes, on those hamstrings, very, very, very similar, which is very different for a machine like this. You guys know the Pit Shark, great machine, but the ratio of weight, I mean, Mike and I could put 10 plates on each side on a Pit Shark and move that sucker. Obviously, Mike can squat 10 plates on each side, I can't.
Would like to talk about Sean's hair today at some point.
I'm thinking about doing 5 plays now. I don't know what.
Come on, big boy.
Good one. Happy.
Now, if Thanos was here, would you be fighting him today? All right, first time using it. Again, he's put on 7 pounds since training with me for a month and a half. When you guys understand that, never skip leg day, because it's going to trigger the whole body growth.
Absolutely. Good, Sean. Come on. Don't be scared
This
to hit
guy
that jab.
trains
I'm
hard.
with you.
This guy trains hard.
Good. Stay in those heels. Come on. You're up. Stay in those heels.
That was good, man. That was good, baby. 5.
I feel like the turbo I go, I'm gonna come up.
Stay down.
Okay.
That's great. And he made
I'm
a
catching
valid
up with
point.
them. I'm behind, but I'm catching up. I'm getting stronger.
You are.
I was
Hey,
such a weak guy.
Mike, I got a question
That's your
for you.
bumper. That's your bumper right there.
So you can bottom out and get up. Mike, I got a question from Zimmy71.
Go!
Back squat. Should you focus on glutes, hamstrings, or quads? Ooh, tell them what we do.
Glutes and hamstrings.
Yep.
People ask me,
What do you do for your hamstrings? And how about retarded shred? For both of you guys, talk about the difference between. And I said this to Mark Bell the other day. Mark Bell wrote me and he goes, "Hey, I think it was close to 500 on bench at 220," and I go, "No, that's incorrect. It's not 220. It's a dried out 220.
Yeah.
So it's more impressive. What do I mean by a dried out 220? What I mean by, there's guys that are 220 and they walk around like that all year. That means they got some good glycogen. They got some good water in the joints. They're not dry and it's not, everything aches on them.
13 seconds remaining, and then we got to cut it off.
Okay, so big story, long story, short story. Rez right now is sliced to the bone, and to be able to do what we're doing,
Yikes.
impressive.
Really hard. They know it.
All right,
All right, Mr. Titan.
ready?
Let's get it.
Woo! We're gonna do another one. Same thing. I'm gonna try to go as wide as I can. I'm basically trying to do it like a yoga squat, trying to take it all the way out. And sitting all the way back.
There we go. Pay attention to the form, guys.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Early beast.
Amazing. Man, this red line, he won't let me catch up with this guy. He's like unhuman.
Nice. Nice. Good job, buddy. Good job. Nice.
Ooh. I feel a hamstring burn from over here.
It's made a lot of noise. Holy cow!
I'm currently out of breath. Check out my live for why. Mike, Sean, and I right around with Matt Wenning's belt squat machine. Single leg dynamic. All right. How far the forward, the foot is front forward. Hamstring, glute. All right. Hip flexor stretch on the reverse side. Out of the bottom. Watch the angle he's pushing. He's pushing out of that heel, all hamstring and glute, all right? Yeah, his quad's working a little bit. The focus, though, heel, all right? Flip to the other side, a little bit of a different angle. Check out the live. It's long. A lot of great information, though, on that live, all right? Shin angle, bone straight up, shin is straight up, all right? Pushing back, stretch that hip flexor, firing out of that other glute and area. Whew.
All right, Rez is up. Let's go, kiddo.
Come on, you big freak.
Let's go, let's go. Whew, sorry about being out of breath, guys. This thing wins me. Beautiful. Crossing.
This is Persia. Is how they say it. He's flexing his biceps and delts while the squat now, you weasel. Stop showing off on my story, you jerk. Sean Rez, I hate your guts. Jealousy.
5-0 in the house. Shot of whiskey after this. Let's go. Whew. I want to clarify that the other day I was in the Rolls Royce. That is not mine. But Stryker likes it.
Oh Lord.
Good. He's like,
That is the resonators. He was my Uber driver for the day. If you got to do Uber, do a Rolls Royce Uber.
All right, loading up here. Again, watch where he's placing the feet. All right. Right leg, focused. Shin angle, straight up and down. All right. Again, heel, drive. You should feel, if you're doing this right, Mike's probably going a lot faster than probably what you should go. If you're doing it right, you're gonna feel that hamstring just tugging, 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 and then glute, hamstring and glute. I'm gonna give you the best angle possible right here.